I wonder where's this nut from? I have a sneaking suspicion.
Oh, you son of
Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how we ended up in this situation. And to be honest, so am I. Stick around, we're gonna find out.
Today we're going to be working on one of the most dangerous components in this whole assembly.
I'm just getting warmed up.
I'm so excited. Let's begin. I'm talking about shocks and springs, of course. Not so much about the shocks, nothing inherently dangerous about them. I just treat them like any component. But these bad boys, they demand respect. When they're compressed, they store a ton of potential energy. So if your tool grabs and compresses them, slips, and these go flying, there's a lot of risk. They can send you to meet your maker very quickly. So be careful with these. Don't follow me, I don't know what I'm doing. Luckily for us, when we're building, we don't have to compress the spring. You just insert the shock, insert the collars, the stops from both ends, the cap, the collar, tighten it down, and it's ready to go onto the car. So I'm very thankful because I heard enough horror stories while doing dimmer maintenance. Now, as for the shocks, we got these wonderful Coney reds. I've never seen reds before. When I was doing dimmer maintenance, it was all about Coney yellows. Every single guy on E46 Fanage was like, "Hey man, is that Coney yellows?" No, these are Coney reds. They're adjustable as well. In fact, FFR Factory 5 says go ahead and check the adjustment level, which is what we're going to do. They're the same for my setup because I got an independent rear suspension, except for the spring. The springs differ a little bit. The fronts are 500 pounds. The rear for me are 400. Of course, I'm the most attentive man ever. So I didn't even notice this, that they're different, right? It's stamped right here. So when you assemble your car, pay attention to what spring you're putting on what shock. With that, let's begin. And these parts are probably the most recognizable part of the car, right? Everyone recognizes the shock, the spring around, and it's like, oh yeah! I feel like I'm in Need for Speed Underground. I did get a couple of comments from you on YouTube under my videos, something along the lines of, dude, suspension is not the place to mess around. Just go ahead and get yourself a nice torque wrench. I really appreciate it, and I was being a little bit facetious when I was talking about my janky wrench. So I went ahead and bought myself a nice Tecton wrench, which is rated for pretty much everything that I would need on this car. Particularly because I do know a little bit about suspension failing on you. We were out vacationing in the Bahamas.
So we get on the road, and the car feels off. It shakes a little bit under acceleration, but when you let off, it's fine. And I thought the automatic transmission is going because these cars have seen better days. You're on an island, it's Exuma, you're really out there in the middle of the ocean, there's nothing. So what do you expect? And we're like, okay, let's get to our villa, and then on the way back, we'll swing by, maybe exchange, I'll take a look at it. And as we go over Kingstown, there's like a ditch you have to cross because they were changing the water pipe. And as we do it, I hear a distinct crunch. And then as we start to accelerate, the steering wheel starts to shake violently. I'm like, that's not right. As we try to pull off, I hear one more crunch, and we just basically grind to a halt. We get out, and I see one wheel is completely missing the lug nuts. So we call road assistance. Mechanic shows up, and he's completely unfazed. He's like, oh yeah, the guys forgot to tighten the wheel again. This is not the first time. But lesson learned, check your lug nuts.
Occasionally, Factory 5 manual is very skimpy on the details. I think they just forget. There's a certain gap between the expectation in the manual, like you know what you're doing, and my skill set. And we need to close this gap somehow. There's two ways that you can close this gap. One, you can go to the forums and just search for everything. But one, right now the search is kind of broken, and so you have to point Google to the forums and hope it brings up an old thread. You don't want to look like a complete idiot either. Well, that's a given. The other technique that I use is just use Anthropic. So I use Claude, professional subscription. Whenever I'm stumped or if I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, I just ask Claude. So I could snap a picture and say, hey, is this positioned right? Am I putting the arms in the right direction? I was like, oh yeah, for a Factory 5 Cobra specifically, this is what you do. In this particular case, on the manual page where it says, oh, just tighten down the shock fasteners to 40 pounds of torque, it doesn't specify which lock nut to use. Now, there's a difference. There's a mechanical lock nut, there's a nylon lock nut included in the package. At this point, I completely ran out of mechanical lock nuts because they went into the fasteners over here. But just to be sure that there isn't a mechanical lock nut sitting in some other box that I need to fish, I asked Claude, like, hey, is this okay to use nylon? Because the problem with nylon lock nuts is they cannot stand the heat. So if there is heat around these components, the nylon will slowly degrade over time, and then the nut will undo itself, and then we are back to Bahamas story where you lose a wheel at speed. I don't want this to happen. And Claude goes, yeah, it's totally fine to use nylon over here. If you really want to, you could upgrade later. Tell me the bolt grade and the thread, and I'll tell you which nut to get. But overall, it just confirms, and I'm confident that I can move along. So, all right, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're just going to use our fancy new all right. Okay, and now we have the shock in place. And you can see from the side, now it really starts to make sense, right? All we gotta do is put the spindle assembly over here, and then we put the brakes on top of that, and our front suspension.
This is where my microphone completely ran out of battery, and I didn't even notice. So whatever I was explaining there doesn't really matter. All that matters is that we're installing a spindle. It's very easy mechanically, there's nothing special here, so we're just gonna fast forward through the whole scene. I just discovered something, that when I did a tie rod on the other end of the car in prep for this, I forgot to put the gem nut on. Which means I will have to undo the tie rod on the other end, put the lock back on, and then reassemble. The problem is, of course, that once you put these bad boys on, there's no easy way to separate them. So once they go in here and they kind of self-taper, you're not getting them out without a tool. So I will need a ball joint separator tool. Not the end of the world, but it just shows you that, you know, you gotta pay attention and not miss anything. And the reason I missed it is that for some reason, the manual says, unpack these guys and screw the grease fittings in them. Why do we start with them? I don't know, but when I undid them, I set aside everything else, including this particular nut, and then I just kind of forgot about it. So now I'm gonna pay the price for it and undo the other end, put it back, reassemble. Here we go. All right, let's do this end. Okay, so let's start this one. Okay. See if I can align it just right. So, here we go, the hub. All right, I got the beautiful hub right here. Let's see if it fits. They do say it is a bit of a tight fit, so this is where you need a mallet. This nut
is absolutely massive. I have a 36mm nut socket that fits, and the load here is the torque is maximum that my wrench will do, which is 200 pounds, should be 225, so we'll just go a little over that. A click and a little over that, if I can get it. All right, let's give it a shot. All right. Whew. That is in place. And now I'm gonna put the cap on. All right, so that is the hub. And now you can see where this is gonna have the brake and the actual wheel. So we're getting there. So the rotor, the coupler will sit here, the rotor, the wheel, you know, bless you. This is our front suspension assembly. We're almost there. All right, Jupiter, what do you think? Is the front suspension complete? Let's take a look. As a preview of the next episode, the first thing we're going to do on the independent rear suspension is this. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I was shocked myself. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be sewing off extra part from the rear suspension spindles. They're aluminum. We're going to take a sawzall. This is what the manual calls for. I'm just going to cut off a few parts. Never in my life had I had to use a sawzall to fit a part, but you know, there's a first time for everything. So stay tuned, excited for what's coming next. We're going to be drilling, we're going to be sewing, I don't know what else, hopefully not welding. Well, we'll see. We'll see when we get to there. As usual, my wife reminds me, hit like and subscribe. And you know, in the comments, what do you think about my goofs? There's been plenty so far. All right, see you then.